But what sort of processes, policies do you recommend?
So this is partly my opinion, partly Energy UK's opinion, right? So just to note, I think when I started my career, and you know, there are women in the sector, and as you say, sector's still about 80% male overall, particularly in the technical roles or leadership roles. And that's a lot to do with stuff outside the sector's control. It's to do with kind of STEM education choices when people are younger, and the boxes we put children in very young. You know, me included, I didn't do an engineering degree for reasons that baffle me now, but like, you know, that's some of this is not ours to fix. However, even when you've got two equally qualified candidates, we're finding that people aren't progressing or being hired. So there's a few things, I think. When I started my career, I was told mentoring and kind of soft support networks would help. So, you know, it was all about talent identification, finding someone who is like you to hold your hand through your career journey and give you good careers advice. Now that works. It's a lovely thing to have. And I've got a group of, you know, mostly women, essentially people with similar backgrounds and experiences to me, that it just gives me that wall of support I need when it's challenging because of who I am, not what I know. That said, I think over the last 10 years I've been working, the people understand that our measures have to be much firmer, that the soft stuff won't work, that just doing inclusivity without doing kind of hard measures to improve diversity doesn't work. So things we've tried, quotas. So we are signed up for all of our events, all our public communications, anything you see from us, to the BBC's 50-50 initiative, which means it has to be 50% men and women. I also worked on some of the quotas in things like the sector deal for offshore wind, and I know the nuclear industry had similar. Let me tell you, those deals would not have got over the line with government if those quotas weren't in, for improving both gender diversity in the industry and Black and minority ethnic diversity too. So quotas are really helpful. I would encourage people to think about that, particularly with boards. When we're appointing board members or we're writing to speakers, we often ask them to think about diversity in the people that they put up for us. There's a relevant point. If you're senior, please give up your platform to other people to come through after you, because the people coming up after you will probably be more diverse and often more interesting. Both my previous bosses did that for me, and it's why I have this career now, right? So there's that bit of it. Other things in recruitment, we use blind CVs, so we often take names off, we take institutions off. For most roles, it's more difficult in an academic context, that one I appreciate, but most of the time it does change your perception of candidates. So that's a good tip. We write inclusive job descriptions where we talk about flexible working up front. We offer people flexible working from day one, that they start with us, maternity and paternity cover from day one when they start with us, and share parental leave. So all of our kind of policies and corporate things that aim to improve diversity there. And then other stuff too, like staff working groups or lunch and learns, again, the kind of soft stuff that's about inclusivity rather than quotas and kind of fixed measures for reporting. Lastly, I think the regulator may, in quieter times, start looking at companies to do better. So things like board governance and so on. I think they might actually start requiring us to consider it as some of our kind of fitness to operate. So we'll see. There you go. That was a kind of